Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to United View. Welcome to another morning view. Big welcome back. Well, for myself, but kind of happy to see you guys. I was going to say welcome back to you guys, but I haven't seen you lot in a few days, so about a week. So big up to each and every single one of you, man. Subscribe to the channel. Let us know if you haven't done so already, because I want to know that you need to know that you must be liking and subscribing. But big up, man. I'm back.
You're back.
I'm back.
Yes.
Shout out to OWEN holding down the fort. Listen. Oh, mate, that West Ham game, I was annoyed that I even had to tune in and make sure I watch it so I can give you guys an act. I was thinking, should I just watch the highlights and then just say what I think afterwards? I thought, no, that's shortchanging the community. That's not what we do here. I tuned in and watched the whole crap and watched kind of a lot of the match view as well, what the internet was permitting. So yeah, I felt exactly how you guys did, and we all felt the same after that West Ham game. But away from that, it is what it is. We know what the Premier League is. There'll be certain inquests that will happen, I'm sure, probably during the show. And we've got to talk about Marcus Rashford, because there was big news last night about Marcus Rashford, or yesterday afternoon, regarding Manchester United's stance on him, the price point, the lack of a wage cut, and all of that good stuff as well. But before we get into it, you guys know I've been doing a lot of stuff. We've been doing a lot of stuff over there on FanFest, and it has been top. And you can win big prizes with the FanFest. Yes, cha-ching, Owen. Cha-ching, ching, ching. Shout out to artists who make a cha-ching, ching, ching, by the way. Owen, there is an artist called cha-ching, ching, ching.
Oh, know of them.
Yeah. No, it's one guy. It's one person.
Yeah, I know of them.
You know of the. Oh, right. Okay.
Them, the person.
Yeah,
I know of that.
absolutely.
I know of that person. Yeah.
All right. Cool. That's cool. But back to FanFest again. Cha-ching, ching. Yes, because you can win big prizes, including retro shirts. You can win match tickets, etc., all by just predicting. Okay, there's a FanFest contest prediction. It's very, very easy to do. You log into FanFest, which you guys know how to do already. That's very easy. You go onto contest and you've got your questions there. Who will win out of that game? Obviously, Chelsea are going to beat Man United. We know that. You log in and you get your engagement points just there by engaging in the content. You wait for that to register. There's been loads of games already, but the fact that those games are passed and there's still more games, you can still keep going. You can still win. So you cycle through the ones that have already been done. You get there. Arsenal against Newcastle as well as the next one. We know Newcastle are going to slap them as well. Probably end up finishing second. You get your engagement points just like that. And then you wait for the final leaderboard to load up. Give it a second. Wait a minute. And there is your leaderboard. So you can get involved in that game, the Arsenal-Newcastle game. You can get involved in the Man United-Chelsea game as well. And also, not just that, but there's other polls, there's other threads, there's other things that you can get involved with that get your engagement points up, where you can win smaller things like team scarves and team keychains and £25 in Fanatics gift card points as well. Exactly. Cha-ching, ching, ching. So there's so much going on. There's still time. Like I said, the fact that you haven't been doing it, don't think, there's not a chance for me to win. There is a chance still for you to win, to gain your engagement points as well. And remember, it is that simple. Predict the matches when you click the link. Vote for the prizes when you want that you want as well to win. And you can win on FanFest. It's that simple. And you also have the chance as well, by the way, let me add, to choose. There's polls as well where you can choose what you guys want to win, which is really important as well. So get involved. The links are all in the video description below. And don't say we don't nice you up, man. And also, I'm live after this as well. 5 minutes past 10. Straight after this, I'll be live on FanFest, continuing the Marcus Rashford and others bits of conversation points as well. Right. That's all of the things sorted out there. Owen.
Yeah.
Marcus Rashford, mate. What's happening with Marcus Rashford, mate?
Yeah, well, there was some interesting stuff yesterday. First of all, welcome back, Fleck. Welcome back. Nice to have you back. Just in time for the Europa League final on Wednesday. There, look at the trophy. There. Oh, I don't even want to think about it too much. Oh, everything's on next Wednesday. Oh.
I know.
But yes, Marcus Rashford. Some interesting stuff came out yesterday from interesting sources, actually, as well, Flex. So first of all, comes from Samuel Lucas, which I know, was he just having a moan? Was he just going on a tangent? Because he can do that. Now, he says that Manchester United expect Marcus Rashford to move abroad in the summer, and they have no intention of reintegrating him into their squad. Continued by saying Manchester United and Marcus Rashford, rather, is not prepared to take a wage cut on his £325,000 a week salary, which would restrict him to a handful of potential suitors in the summer, even though that's a bit weird because there have been those reports suggesting that, say, if Barcelona came in, he would be willing to take a pay cut. But it's the same issue we had in January, which is the wages. Wages make moves difficult. But this is where it gets interesting because Simon Stone also put out an article the very same day. And Simon Stone doesn't put out an article unless he's got confirmation from a lot of people. Either Rashford or the club have told him to put out an article of like, here's some information, Simon. And he said Marcus Rashford believes Manchester United would be prepared to sell him for £40 million to anyone this summer. Anyone. There have been no negotiations over a permanent transfer to Aston Villa, which is quite interesting because they still could be in the Champions League next season. They're not completely out of that race at all. And they've seemingly got that £40 million option to get him. But it looks like as we get closer to the end of the season, that option is yet to be triggered and is not going to be triggered. Simon Stone interestingly said, sources close to Marcus Rashford expect him to return to Manchester United for pre-season training in July. But that doesn't necessarily...
He's coming back. It's a disgrace. See, this club. He's coming back. I knew it.
He's definitely going to be staying, you know, stuff. But it is quite curious, Flex, that yesterday... two separate outlets, two separate journalists, both put out these Rashford stories at a similar time. Clearly, someone's been talking. Maybe one side, maybe both sides have been talking of sort of going, yeah, I don't think he's going to move to Villa, but he is moving in the summer. You know, like, and he's 40 million is available. Wages are a bit of an issue, but he's not going to come back. We're not reintegrating him. You know, Ruben's not changed his mind or anything like that, which is quite curious, isn't it?
It is. I mean, the bit about him coming back in July, I mean, that's just routine, isn't it? Really? If he hasn't secured... When does the window open? June 1st or something? Because there's
one in June for like a week or a couple of... I don't even know.
Right. But let's just... The July thing, let's just go off that. Yeah. He has to report back for pre-season because, you know... He has to. It's still our player.
It's his job. It's his job.
Yes, it's his job. And until he's sorted out his move, very similar to like what happened with Jadon Sancho, he has to be there. What I would say on that is, though, before we get into the semantics of like his transfer fee and his wages, etc., just from a club point of view of how big the summer's going to be and how locked in we've got to be, regardless of whether we win this Europa League on Wednesday or not. The biggest thing is that we got to be locked in, and you don't really want, not because he's a bad egg, but you don't really want the media scrutiny and circus that is coming with Rashford of being in the squad, training with the squad, coming on tour. That level of distraction will just be so unwanted. It happens, you know what I'm saying? The same thing happened last year with Jadon Sancho, but Marcus Rashford would be a step up from Jadon Sancho, especially with how this season's gone for him. First season, moving away, spending time away from the club. Not that they'll put him in front of cameras to talk, but it will just be an unwanted, unnecessary, really, distraction when Ruben's already talking about the pressure he's under to start next season. Well, we want to do business early, be ready. So, I don't know. I mean, even that, you know, normally we say, actually, he will definitely, if he has to be there, we're paying him, he's got to be on tour, he's got to show that it's good. The Rashford one might not be. They might go, I don't know. I don't think we'll bring him to America to stay and train. He's not. Well, he's close to a move. Depends. He might not actually go to America. The more I think about it, if he is here and hasn't sorted a move, because there's a lot going on there.
We've seen situations like that before, haven't we? Where players don't get taken out on tour and for various reasons, whether it's injury, whether it's just, you know, a delayed return, whether it's because by the time the tour's finished, they're expected to be gone permanently. So I suppose that wouldn't be necessarily a total shock. And maybe Reba might just think, look, again, if we're not planning on integrating him back in, why would we take him out on tour with us when we're, you know, focusing on players that we are going to be using or what have you? So I suppose I think it's just a thing of there will probably be a situation where he is spotted once again in a Manchester United training shirt, at Carrington.
Yeah, we at Carrington, yeah.
And it'll be like, oh, look, there's Rashford, he's back. But we, like you said, when it comes to the noise and the drama of it all, we saw that in January and in December, didn't we? Where he's not playing in games, but he's still around. And every match day, even on social media, there's the whole, oh, look, there's a picture of Rashford in the crowd, or Rashford did this Instagram
he's
post,
still present
or this happened. And that's, it has been nice over the last few months to not have that level of just, constant. I mean, obviously it's always going to happen because he's still a contracted United player, but it has been nice just to have that level of separation. Yeah. But I suppose the idea that he's not going to be at Aston Villa, that's not that much of a surprise, considering in his first interview, he's like, I'm only here for a short time. And he got the impression very quickly that he wasn't going to be sticking around long term because he doesn't want to. He sees himself playing for the name Barcelona gets thrown around a lot. And I don't know how true those things are, but that's how he perceives himself. That's where he wants to go, that kind of caliber of club across Europe. Whether or not that's feasible, I mean, Barcelona, La Liga champions, would they be interested in a Rashford and 40 million?
You might be able to go to one of these places and be a squad player, which is crazy to say, but it's not crazy to say because he ain't going to start over Rafinha on the left, is he? He ain't going to start. No. But these teams could have different. We don't know about what these teams are really on and how they see it. Big name, shows ambition, not really that much money, considering what Rashford was supposed to be costing in his come up and in the middle of his career versus now stocks are low. Bring him here. He's going to be in a winning team. Come off the bench, start a few games here and there. He could be that guy. I don't know. Yeah. You don't know.
He might be like, I'll play striker. La Liga. I'll play striker. You know what I mean? You got
Lewandowski's on his way out.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. It might be something like that.
You just don't know. So I think the fact that we go, mate, blind alleys, he can't get his head up. He can't. Nah, like the stature of him and the brand and like the best version of him can mix it. Like I'm not saying he's as technically gifted as these types of players and how they're performing, but you just never know. AC Milan, the 40 million price tag in the summer versus January is a lot more appealing to a lot of teams now. But the bit about our bit is that, again, he wasn't adhering to Ruben's standards as well. He'd made his mind up. So how could he come back and then start adhering to Ruben's standards and be in training? No. Okay, it's different with him. It was with Jadon Sancho, it was that. Well, actually, no, it was the same thing because he got banished as well, didn't he? And until he got the move to Dortmund.
But even that, like the Sancho, it's in retrospect in the summer with Sancho's little brief return. That was the idea that was basically just to put him in the shop window and look, play nice until he leaves. That's clearly what was going on. You know what I mean?
So wouldn't the same happen with Rashford then?
Because once the season started, like Sancho was then nowhere to be found in terms of the Premier League squads. Like he wasn't even involved. You know what I mean? So I think
when did he leave? In January?
What, Sancho?
No, he left in the summer. Oh, no. He left in the summer, but the season had started, didn't it?
Yeah. And he played a bit on the he played a bit on the tour, and then in the first few games, it was like Sancho's not in the Premier League squad. What's happened? Why has he not been named in these squads for this game? And the Brighton game, he even travelled with the squad, and he wasn't included in the squad.
I can't remember the timeline
because people saw him arriving.
When we got back from tour, so he was on tour with us.
He was on tour.
Because he came back. Oh no, he was on loan. He was on loan at Dortmund and then came back.
Yeah, he came back. And he was in training. Then he played the first few games of pre-season. Obviously, he missed the penalty in the Charity Shield penalty.
Oh no, Charity Shield.
And he missed the penalty that, and then obviously City won that. And then first two games of the season, Fulham and the Brighton one, which was second game of the season. We was away at the Amex. He was with the squad in Brighton. People saw him arriving at the Amex, but he wasn't named in the squad. Right, and everyone was like, I thought he just was a bit involved in pre-season.
I remember now.
What's happening there? And then, obviously, last day of the window, the loan.
Well, then the question is this is a business and Ineos need to sell. If he hasn't secured a move by a certain time, would they have him training and like just in this? Because I said, Ruben, I know that you say the standards thing, but we can't appear to have him as an asset, just hasn't trained. It's not good. We have to also show, I know he's expected to leave, but we also have to show, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that, if he stays, we'll use him. Oh, yeah, we're not in a weak position. The whole business side of it.
Well, I think he'd still be training because he was still training when he was, throughout December and early Jan, wasn't he? He was involved in the training sessions. He's just not when the match day
Oh
squad
yeah,
came
he was
around,
training. He just
wasn't
weren't
involved.
selected. Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
forgot.
yeah.
You know what it is? You're right, because we've had that nice break away from the thing. I actually forgot what the chronological order of what was happening. Yeah, he was Man City, never got back in after that. Training,
Well, he did once.
not making
He did once. He was
Newcastle, and I was
on the
cussing
bench.
about that.
Yeah, but he
I was
never
like, what's
came
the
on.
point in that? Never came
Yeah.
on because we needed numbers, which didn't make sense to me at the time, but hey ho.
Yeah.
Then trained with the first team, was never banished, but just couldn't get in the starting 11. Fleck got an amnesia. I have on this Rashford thing. I have, because it's been so long since I've actually, and this is what everyone was talking about. It's been a while since actually having to think about this daily. Oh, he's in the team again. So he's not in the team again, but he's training. Oh, he's looking for a move, this, that. Because now it's coming back up again because we're back at the end of the season. It's been out of mind. It's been Villa's problem, or Villa's issue, should I say. So, yeah, and now I remember. So, how do I think it will go? Yeah, I think he gets back. I think it'll just be the same. He'll train, but probably won't be in them preseason matches. Won't travel. And then when they go to preseason, I don't think he'll go to America unless he sorted out a move by then. Then great,
Yeah.
but I think he'll just stay at Carrington training. But he'll be with the squad when they're in England. But if they're not, then he's not there. But in terms of 40 million price tag, listen, the club, of course, they're not going to change their mind. He's not going to change his mind. There's a super chat there because I haven't seen it, but a lot of people have said that he said this. I don't know, because Everett's been doing a lot of media at the minute. Eminem says thoughts on Everett's comment. He spoke to Rashford and he had issues with the higher ups in the club. I think it was that Rashford feels betrayed or something.
Yeah, basically, he's saying that it's in an interview or whatever. He said after his debut, he told me I would never leave the club. I think his heart wants him to stay at United, but he feels betrayed by many people at the club. Maybe he was feeling depressed at United, is what Evra said.
The way Evra puts, I don't know, Uncle Pat, you don't know. He's a vibes man, isn't it? So you say there is something there, but when he's like, oh, maybe he's depressed and I don't know. It's like I'd rather go off like straight facts off like Rashford has said this. He's going off. I've caught up with him quite a few times. He's been down, etc., etc. But look, would he have felt betrayed? Listen, when Sancho left, he felt betrayed. Their version of the event is like, I've been wronged. Anthony was playing instead of me. He's crap. Why was you're embarrassing me, making me say sorry in public, or I wasn't not training properly. It's their opinion versus the club / the manager. It's always going to differ, isn't it? So the fact that Rashford feels betrayed, I know we can say betrayed. Is he having a laugh? Like, what do you mean betrayed? We've given you a contract of this, that, and the third. But for whatever the reason is of him getting bombed out and then saying you're not got no future here, he's going to feel unjust from that. He is.
Yeah, I was just looking to see if there was like a longer form thing about this Evra Rashford thing. If you type in like Evra Rashford into Google, you just see every time that Evra has spoken about him over the last couple of years. And it's like December 2023, Patrice Evra slams Marcus Rashford for being unprofessional. Scroll down a little bit. He's going to be one of the best players in the world. November 2022. Patrice Evra thinks Marcus Rashford will establish himself as one of the best players in the world. He's given him
bit like us.
He's given him a new nickname after United beat Leicester. What was the nickname he gave him?
Oh, God.
The Punisher is what he called him. You know what I mean? So I don't know how accurate it is in terms of like Evra spoken to him and and he feels disrespected by people at the club. I think he's probably just putting two and two together there by going, look how that whole thing happened with Amorim, leaving. He's a senior player. He's one of the highest paid players at the club, and he's being not included in match day squads. And the reason given is that, and at points, Ruben Amorim said he'd rather have the goalkeeping coach that sort of waddles around, yes, it's very disrespectful.
Yeah, exactly.
and it's intentional by Ruben. So, of course, he probably thinks that people at the club have disrespected him. That's what's happened, that to me says that there's no way back. And to your point, how do you reintegrate him back in then? If there was going to be a road back, the road
have to be the turnarounds of all turnarounds.
Yeah, the road went, it split a long time ago, didn't it? With Rashford saying in the interview to Henry Winter about leaving, and I think I'm ready for a new challenge, and this, that, and the other. It's over, isn't it? It's been over for a while. So I think that's just Uncle Pat being Uncle Pat, to be honest.
I think so, because he's a vibes man, isn't it? You can say a lot of stuff on the spot that's like just complete vibes. That's how he is, isn't it?
Yeah.
What do you think about the wage cut situation then? Because that's interesting. That was it Sammy Luckhurst who claimed that he's not going to doesn't want to take a wage cut?
Yeah, I mean, he said, was it this one? Marcus Rashford is not prepared to take a wage cut on his £325,000 a week salary, which would restrict him to a handful of potential suitors in the summer. I'm going to be honest, I do call bullshit on that.
You think
because well, they've been saying quite a lot, haven't they? That if the right club, if where he's clearly in his mind will have somewhere that he wants to go. Let's say it is Barcelona. If Barcelona go, look, Marcus, we've agreed a fee with United. It's around that 40 million, but they realize it's a difficult one. But problem is, us, like, have you seen the levers we've been pulling recent years? We've been selling seats for stadium that's not even built yet. We've got naming rights for stuff that doesn't even exist. It doesn't even exist right now. It's just crazy, and it's worked for us. Look, we won La Liga, the Hansi Flick, got Champions League semi-final, but we can't give you 325 because we just can't. It's got to be like 200. What do you think he's going to go? No. That's I feel disrespected. Ruben Amorim saying he's going to put a 6-year-old goalkeeping coach on. There's levels of disrespect. The disrespect of we want to give you, £200,000 a week. And also, like you said, there's no guarantee he's going to be starter anyway.
No.
So
and he'll have to get some level. He'll also have to get some level, I should imagine, with the way these deals are going to be done. This is my opinion. He'll get some level of his recuperation of what he would have been owed for the rest of his contract within this transfer. So Man United will have to pay that off, that's for sure. He might have to accept a pay cut going into his new contract, because if that's what you have to accept because you want to sign a new deal. But make no mistake, he'll be like, where's my piece? Like, I've got 2 years left of 325 or however long it is. They'll have to come to an agreement within that of he has to get that as well.
Yeah. Or United sort of go to him, look, Barcelona, mate. I mean, we can't really afford to pay that off, you know what I mean? But if you could just waive that.
I don't know, man.
Barca tried it with Frankie de Jong. Remember with us when Barca tried the same thing?
Yeah.
Frankie de Jong
owed money, so I'm not going.
He was owed more than Rashford. I mean, Frankie de Jong's wage at that point at Barcelona was astronomical because it was a big contract anyway. And then after COVID, obviously everyone in the team took those wage cuts, but with the promise that it would rise back up even higher outside of the pandemic. And Barca were just like, we've agreed a fee with United, go. And he was like, 1, I don't want to go. 2, you owe me a shit ton of money and are trying to sell me for money, and I'm the only one not getting any money here. So what are we doing here? And then obviously he didn't go. So
that's a great example. It proves how players go, you owe me this, I'm not going anywhere. We tried to sell Maguire to West Ham twice, didn't we?
Yeah.
Twice, or was it once? Twice.
Yeah, well, we tried to sell McTominay as well. We tried to sell McTominay to West Ham. No. I was like, no.
The Maguire one definitely was like, I'm owed this. I'm not. No.
Yeah, and I don't want.
Wasn't the Wan-Bissaka one at one stage? It was like, no.
Wan-Bissaka. It was that was in jeopardy at one point because they had to figure out, okay, he's going to go be earning less. Like, what do we do?
That's what I'm saying. So the club has to. So this is true stuff. What we say, I ain't just making it up. Like when a player goes to another club, it's okay. This is cool, great. I'm out of your plans and that. Who's footing the bill for this then? Because I've got a thing here. If I open this book, it's my contract. It says until this date, I get this much money. So you're making me go early because I'm not trying to go. So who's paying that then?
And you have to remember as well, a lot of these players, not all of them, as James said on Monday on the red carpet, but a lot of these players, if Man United win that Europa League next week, they've got a lot more money coming to them, okay? Because they get one,
they're going to pay out their skins.
They'll get a bonus for obviously winning a trophy and a final and all this kind of stuff. But secondly, 25% increase on their salaries. And I spoke about this yesterday. You would think that, someone said to me in the chat, like, shouldn't it be, the fact of like winning and not having the worst record in the Premier League and not doing this, and that's why they should be running harder? And I went, you'd think so, but the motivations of a fan versus a player are totally different. We wish that the players were loyal, fought for the badge, played for the badge. And some do, particularly those that come through the academy or whatever, or almost adopt the club as their own. But there are players, and I mean, you know this, Flex. I mean, particularly if you know someone that's a professional footballer, they'll say, look, you have an element of loyalty to the club, but the biggest loyalty is to yourself. You know 100%. What I mean? And no, they see that's why you see people play for Man United and play for Manchester City. You see where people play for, rivals, or they leave on a free, or they go to another club, or they take a step up and people hate them. I can't believe you left. And they're like, it's just business at the end of the day. So like you said, next Wednesday, they'll be running out of their skin. Why? Because there's serious money on the line. Proper money on the line, yeah? 25% increase on their salary, bonuses, yeah. In addition to that, whether or not they might even be at the club next season, they're like, I don't want to take a step down and earn less money. I want to stay, right? we got to be in Champions League. I've got to give them something to think about. That's all on the line next week. So when we're talking about why aren't they pressing against West Ham in the Prem when it doesn't matter, exactly. And nothing's going to change in terms of the Premier League. All right, we've gone down a bit. Next week, money on the line, futures on the line. Watch the press, mate.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's very, very true. International says, imagine selling Mason Greenwood for 30 million, buying Rasmus for 72. Man, listen, obviously we know all the connotations that went with why we sold Mason Greenwood, but ability-wise, look what he's doing at Marseille. You know what I mean? It was nothing to do with ability. Class of 99 says, how's the goalkeeping coach working out for Ruben? Yeah, exactly. There you go. These are the things, innit? These are the pushbacks. Eminem says, Muppeteers hinted this last summer. They tried to sell him, Rashford, in the summer without letting him know, and the same in October. After that, Rashi did the interview. And these are the things, innit? Like, we can all agree that we think he should move on, and we thought that a long time ago, but the steps in which it happens can piss the player off. Like, maybe they were trying to sound out people. But there were briefings, weren't there? There was like, Rashford's for sale, 40 million price tag, this, that, and the other. And the first ever bit that came out of it might have been news to him. He might have had a gentleman's agreement or discussion that said, well, we'll look at this at the end of the year. New managers come in. Let's just see how it goes. Then all of a sudden it was, you're trying to sell me. Managers saying I'm not in the squad. You're forcing me out. I thought I was leaving at the end of the season. We just don't know. I'm not defending Rashford. I'm just saying these are just the two sides of there's always two sides of a coin. Whether you agree with what the player thinks or what the club thinks, there's always the two sides to it. Always. So, you have to take that into consideration, which is why when you see things like, with a pinch of salt to a certain point of what Patrice ever saying, but he feels betrayed or he feels let down or this, that, and the other, there will be an element of that in every spat that happens when there's a breakdown in relationship between club and player. Class of 99 says, why take wage cut? I wouldn't buy me out. Mugs game. Why take it? Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's money, isn't it? What? You're not going to agree to. Sometimes you will, depending on what you want. But in terms of saying like, oh, don't give me that money or whatever, and it's peas, it's money. It's like Owen says, if you run harder, you negotiate better. It's money.
And it depends who's interested. If you do legitimately have a dream move, then you don't really think that much about money. If you're being forced out to a club, you're like, well, I've got to leave, and I don't want to go there. And suddenly, money becomes really important. Not that it'll make you happy, but you're just a bit like, well, at least I'm getting something out of it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So those things, man, that whole Rashford thing's going to be interesting, how this plays out.
Lil Yo-Yo says, now you mentioned the salary thing, these criminals are definitely winning that cup. They will look at Spurs like dollar signs for FC.
I'm telling you, Flex. That's why
they're about to win their first trophy in bloody God knows how long, though.
No, I'm telling you, that's why of all the games this season, and look, how many previews have we done together? Yeah, I'm not confident with any of the games. Yeah, how many times have I gone, 1-1 or 2-1, or I just go 2-1 because it's like my thing of going, I'm not sure we're going to win, but I've got to say we got to win, so 2-1. I'm actually
this one you're saying we're winning this. We're winning the trophy league.
Yeah. We are. And I was the same guy arguing with KG a couple of weeks ago, going, there's no fucking chance we're going to win Europa League. Absolutely no chance. I know for a fact that on UV clips, there is a video of me, KG going, we'll win Europa League. And I'm going, no, KG, we're not going to win Europa League.
Yeah,
we're not going to win.
Look at us.
Absolutely no chance. And I flip-flopped on this because I learned my lesson in that semi-final against Bilbao. These players, yes, they are criminals. That's what they will do. Like I'm telling you, Show says we act like Spurs won't want it either. I get that. But there, it's everything. Yeah, their European heritage is to get to the final and lose, and expression's going to be like, "Geez," all that kind of thing. Whereas us, we're shit, and we still win these trophies. Like they said, for the salary thing, they're going to be playing like madmen because they are literally playing for more money, playing for their future. It's just that's what's going to happen with us. It is. That is what we do. That is
Owen,
what
Owen,
we
wait a minute.
do.
Hold on, wait a minute. With the way the season's gone, though, would it not be like, the most, when you think it can't get any worse in terms of how embarrassing it is losing to Spurs in a European final, where we laugh at them for never winning a trophy? Would you not also put it down to these criminals that they are capable of letting us as fans have to endure that, watching Spurs win a trophy on our watch?
This is even higher criminality, because remember, Flex, they're criminals, but they don't serve time. Okay, there's a big probation. Sometimes they just get away with it. It's suspended sentence. They never actually serve. They're never behind bars. They're career criminals, true. But they never serve time ever. Right? So we've played Spurs 3 times this season. We've lost 3 times. Do you know how we play them 1 time when it matters, we're in the Champions League, win a trophy. And they're like, see, the other 3 times didn't matter. That is what these guys do. They go, we're playing them 4 times. Playing them 4 times. Do you want to win every single one? No, win the important one. The rest of it doesn't matter. And that's what we do. On aggregate, they win 3-1. On aggregate, they win however many won. We might win the final 1-0. So like
and it's the most Spurs thing as well, because by them beating us 3 times this season, it hasn't mattered.
No,
they're below us in the league. Are they still below us? Wait, what happened on the weekend?
Yeah. We're 16.
Still below us?
Literally, the 2 worst teams in the Premier League that are going to be in the competition next season. You don't count the relegated teams. Every single the rest of them are in the Championship. The 2 worst teams in the Premier League that will be in the Prem next season. One of them will be in the Champions League. Yeah,
it's mental. It's mental. So for them beating us 3 times already this season, 1 in the Carabao Cup and 2 in the league clearly doesn't mean anything because we're above you. I know. Listen, we're both the shittest, but like we have to get minuscule because we're mud siblings. Yeah. So you beating us twice in league clearly didn't mean anything, and you beating us in the Carabao Cup didn't mean anything because you got licks after that against Liverpool and didn't win it. And now you face us where it's just a shootout for this is what matters. This is history. This is legacy. This is what matters.
Do you know how mad it is? Effectively, for some reason, there is a relegation playoff to get into the Champions League. Literally, the 2. It should be they're playing. One of them goes to the Championship, right? But no, they're playing. One of them plays in the biggest European competition next season and wins a trophy.
What's crazy is we lost a 12-pointer against Spurs, but we're still above them.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
the most Spursy thing could be all of this.
Yeah.
Beat them 3 times this year, had our laughing at them, this, that, and the other. But then we end up finishing below them in the league, lose to them in the European final, and they have no Europe, nothing. And then they sack the manager and start all over again.
Literally.
Oh, mate. And it's the most Man United thing, obviously, to win trophies in your shit period. So, which scares me because that's written too easily. It's too obvious. Spurs don't win finals, we do. We win in Europe, they don't. They're about to sack their manager, looks like, regardless. But I don't know. I don't like it at all. But if I'm choosing, I'm obviously going with we're going to win. Obviously, it is Spurs. You know what I mean? And the closer it gets to that, the more I'm going to be like, it's Spurs, man.
They've got Kulusevski out.
I'm just about to say that. Yeah.
They've got Bergvall out. You know what I mean? They've got, and that's basically what happened with when we played Bilbao. Go down 10 men. Suddenly, the Williams sisters, they're out. And people giving it like, I can't believe this. Look at United. Look how much they've fallen. They're happy that Spurs have got players out. Yeah. You kidding me? We're 16th. Back in the day, Man United would be a full strength Spurs team. Well, back in the day, we were winning the Premier League. We're 16th. Well, yeah. I would take any possible advice. Even if they said, Spurs, they've all got food poisoning, they've all got diarrhea, they can't play for the game 3-0. I'd be like, brilliant. That's great. No problem. I will take anything, even the thing of, and this is what Minna was said on Monday, and I do disagree. But do we really want to be in the Champions League though? Do we really, would it be good for? I mean, we won't win, and will we really deserve it? And you go, who cares? Like, there's the playoff final between, was it Sunderland and Sheffield United? Do you think that both sets of fans there are going, yeah, but we're not going to win the Prem next season when we're in it? You know what I mean? We're not going to win the Premier League. They'll be like, who gives it? We need money. We need money, and also we might do better than we think, and we might make some more money, and that will help us grow.
You jam a little draw and go a bit further. Yeah, it's better off to be in it, and it's a cup competition, isn't it? And we've proved that anything can happen. Obviously, the last time we was in the cup competition, we finished miserably bottom of the league. I get that, but actually, they've made it a bit easier to actually get through now. Because there's more games, and you got to finish in the top 8 to go automatically, and then you get in the 24, then you get another shot. So. We can be like the minnows. We can be the minnows of the Champions League for a bit and go, we're underdogs. Let's just try and get in that top 24. Try and get an easy draw over 2 legs to get through to round of 16. Not that. Listen, by the time we have a decent, hopefully, if you get in the Champions League and have a good pre-season, you'd think that you can finish in the top 8. But us being in the top 8 of teams in Europe is going to be difficult. But I'd rather be in it than not. Like you said, just for the money alone, because
think of the summer we've got, Flex. The
summer we've got. We need players.
This week, Samuel Lucas reported that Manchester United in the Premiership next season are aiming for a top 6 finish. That's what they're aiming for next season. To go from 16th, potentially 17th, to 6th or above in a summer. With this group of players that we know that this manager, he's always said, can't. This is the best I can get out of these players, So, and if those teams behind us actually were any good, the teams that are going down to the Championship, we'd be in massive trouble. Yeah. So the amount of work we're going to have to do to get players for this coach, we know the coach isn't going anywhere. The stories came out this week. It's last thing on the agenda. David Ornstein said, last thing on the agenda is getting rid of Ruben Amorim. Ruben Amorim in the press conference. I'm not going to quit. I'm far from quitting. That's not going to happen. So manager's not leaving. So we've got to, in the summer, move players on and get players for him.
He said we have to be brave in the summer as well.
That is a lot easier being in the Champions League than finishing 16th and doing nothing. Right? Financially, the players are available, moving players on, etc. It's a lot easier. So the
attractive nature of what we're trying to do. Yes, the badge. Players want to come here, and people do want to come here. That's why we're seeing the reports of Cunha with or about the Europa League. He wants to come here. The latest what I saw when I was away, which I obviously covered a little bit. I didn't see too much afterwards with the Delap thing.
Even that, they were like,
it looks like whether we win it or not, he just sees them as a massive club.
Wow, they were saying with the Delap one. They were saying with the Delap one, leading the race. But of course, May United win the Europa League, then, not that it hinges on that, but that's going to be a big thing. Because effectively, every club in the Prem, aside from a couple, because every club in the Prem is looking for a striker and goals, they're in for him. So there could be more attractive propositions. And again, it depends on what happens with them. So for instance, Chelsea, if they do bottle it, they don't get in the Champions League, but we do. Where do you think he'll want to go? He'll want to go to the Champions League club. And with that, this is the other narrative I don't understand with it, which is, he's just a mercenary, Flex. He's just a mercenary. And if he's picking, right? If he's picking where he's going based on Champions League football, then I don't want him at Manchester United.
Nah, that's just total bollocks.
Really? Literally. Huh? Why are we doing that? Because in the past, when we signed Wayne Rooney, if we were 16th in the league, do you think Wayne Rooney would have signed for us?
Exactly. No, he's a young kid from Everton, knows. He's only 18, mate. What's he? No, he don't get to choose.
I mean, Robin van Persie, the little boy in him said, I want to go win the Premier League. So he went to Manchester United because he wasn't going to win the Premier League at Arsenal. Like, that's players have done that forever. I'm going to go to this club because they're going to win a trophy or they're in the Champions League or what have you. And make them a mercenary. If anything, I want those players that want to go to a place where they think they're more likely to win. Isn't that what we want?
The whole point of your career.
Yeah.
Because sometimes there's the
So
flip side of it where you go, obviously the allure of our club, and it means they really want to be here because you go, they want to come here even in our shit time. So wow, that's the sort of guy I want here. But then other times you can go, bloody hell, what's the ambitions you got? You want to come here? You can go to quite a few clubs, go test yourself at the highest level, and instead you want to come to the team that finished 17th place and has no Europe to offer you next year. But as fans, we like that because it's like that shows that it's about this. You know, even if they were in a championship, players would want to come here because this is heavy. This means something, which it does. Which there's still an appeal. Like I always say to some of the fans, some of the fans I've argued like with Dan Bardell and stuff like that. Some of the teams that get a bit too big for their boots, so they ain't done nothing yet. So like the Villa thing, I've been arguing with him, you know, because he's always putting us down. I go, listen, that's fine. Yeah, we're a laughing stock, and you're doing Champions League, you're beating Bayern, and you know now you're in the quarterfinals facing PSG, all of that stuff. I goes, don't get twisted, bro. Because he was like, no, not one player, one of our players would go to you. I goes, in the summer, if Man United came in for Ollie Watkins and put down, you know, whatever, and Villa accepted it, don't think we couldn't get Ollie Watkins. Don't think we couldn't get Ollie. Don't think we could. At the time, I was like John Duran or whatever. I was like, we can get some of your players, bro. Like Leon Bailey. Like if we put in a bid and so, like we can get some of your players. You're not.
But this is
like,
you know what's funny with that though, Flex. Yeah, and this is how the last decade plus has just completely melted our brains as United fans. Yeah, if we were going for Ollie Watkins, we would find a million reasons why we don't want Ollie Watkins, and literally they would be English bias, British, but I'm honestly, it's when Harry Kane, yeah, when we were thinking about we were going for Harry Kane, we criticised him because what's he ever won? What's Harry Kane ever won? He plays for Spurs, and what's he ever won? Don't want him. We do it for everyone, and that's the same with Delap. Oh, his team's relegated. You go. We've signed players from relegated teams in the past. You know, we've got Roy Keane. You know, from Forest. They were relegated. It's like arguably our greatest captain ever. No. You know, we don't want him. Don't want him. It will be the same. Like, I'm telling you. And Kevin says in there in the chat, Owen's waffling. Fans never said that about Kane. That is bullshit, Kevin.
They did say
that is bullshit. I am telling you now for a fact. Go back to summer of 2023, yeah, when Harry Kane's name was getting brought up, people were saying, don't sign Harry Kane. He's never won anything. It is mad. It is crazy. Yeah, and it was a real after thing. That day, I realized that just we will never be happy with any player until they come in and they do something. Until they come in. So with the Delap thing, it's not saying, oh, he's going to come in, he's going to be great, you'll see, anything like that. It's just, no, I'm not saying he's going to be amazing. I'm not saying he's going to be bad. I'm just going to be like, all right, he can come in.
Let's have a look. Yeah. But it's because it's so far.
Some players can.
So bad. It's because we've been so bad without it working. Everyone's lost faith in pretty much everything. You know, Show was saying there, he was saying that's delusion to think Ollie Watkins would come to Man United. It's not delusion. It's not. It's not, bro. What you have to realize is when we said we talk about money and the law, like if you say to Ollie Watkins, he's nearly 30 now, we could give you a 5-year deal at Man United. Villa already tried to sell you and put you to the side when Rashford came in for a little bit. You know what I mean? John Duran, you're fighting with him. You're going to be the main guy in this rebuild at Man United. We're going to give you $250 a week. I'm not saying we should do this, by the way. I'm not saying that. But that still counts for something of someone like Ollie Watkins going, 4 or 5 year deal, man. I'll be the main guy. It's Man United, bro. Like, I got to think of, I'll do it. They would. There's people that would. And I know it can sound laughable because obviously, yes, the trajectory of Villa, of where they are, you know what I mean? But that's what I'm saying. Watkins is 30. That's what I'm saying. Like, guys, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying we should go and give him a record. I'm saying.
So you're saying, Fleck, you're saying, because I saw it there in the chat with the Delap thing as well. Owen's comparing Delap to Harry Kane. You know?
Yeah, it's not saying that is the most financially viable thing to go and do. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying where it's like it's impossible for you to go and get him. He would never come. No, he would. And if there was a way where we could, by the way, like Owen's saying, he's 30, but again, you're doing it already. He's 30. So
yeah, but guys,
he's still wicked.
We've got our strikers right now consist of Rasmus Højlund, can't score a goal. Cheeto, who is literally, how old is he? 18? 17, however old he is. Yeah, he's still yet to score a goal in the Premier League because he's young. And Joshua Zirkzee, who's injured. Oh, and by the way, he's not even a striker. Yeah, this is the other part of it. Any striker, well, that's where we're at. Like I was with the goalkeeping situation. Anyone that can come in and get like 12, 13 goals or whatever the season,
he's rubbish.
Massively improve us.
Ollie Watkins had a shit season this year. You got to watch out for him though. 16 goals in the league.
And
that's
also,
just in the league.
This is the other part of it, Flex. We can get buying the players from the smaller teams. It's talking about both sides of our mouth, yeah, right? Because when these other clubs do it, and they go get Morgan Rogers, or they go get players from the Championship, or they go get players from that have just got relegated, and they do well, in 3 or 4 years' time, we go, why don't we get those players? Why don't we do that? We shouldn't be going for these big players. We should be going for players in the Prem, smaller teams. Go and get him from Palace. Go get him from this. Go get him from that. And then when we do it, what happens? We go, nah, don't want it. The Mateta one. How many times do I say, oh, we should go for Mateta? Mateta? Manchester United? Oh, from Palace?
How the standards have fallen. This club.
Look at this.
It's people like you putting the thing on the floor.
Look at this. I remember when we used to be getting Andy Cohen, Dwight York, and we had Tevez and Berbatov and Ronaldo. Now we're getting Mateta. And then suddenly when the Mateta one doesn't happen, I tell you what, why don't we get Mateta? Why didn't we do that, Flex? Yeah. It's mad. It is madness. So spare me when like we get linked to Delap and we're like, he's rubbish, not be good enough. And then because we do it with every player, even if tomorrow we're bringing in Lamine Yamal, we'd be like, too young. He's too young. I'm not sure. Too young, and I'm not sure he can do it in the Prem.
La Liga's different pace.
They'll go. They would genuinely look at Anthony. Look at what happened. Look.
Now that was crazy. Because look, he was at us, couldn't play. He's gone to league, and look how good he is. Proves it's easier.
So yeah, it's a risk.
Yeah, true. True. Yeah, even getting Bumo. Yeah, but doing it for Brentford, small family club, there's no pressure.
Yeah, Brentford.
No pressure, mate.
You know what I mean?
No.
But if Arsenal sign him, good signing that. He'll do well.
Yeah, but that is because though a little bit of
trust, isn't it?
But I'm going to say a little bit of thing because we are in jest, but because you're right, we do have to sign these type of players to get back because we can't lure in the top players because that's the other thing. We'll go and get the top ones. We're shit. We're 17. Yeah. We can't jump from that to that. We need to.
And we've tried. We've done that.
Tried, but at the same time, you look at the misses of transfers when we have gone for players. Anthony's don't seem much of a Eredivisie. Okay, cool, bring him in. Xerxes, we'll have a look. Hoyland, all right, cool. The record's awful. So, it's people just, I think people just don't trust what we're doing because it's been so crap. Which I get.
And it's not the point as well, like Pap says here, this is the thing. Standards are falling. Arsenal going to get Gyökeres and trying to close the gap by getting Delap. Yeah. Obviously, I think most people in the chat.
So what's the answer? What the answer is? How do you close the gap?
Bring Gyökeres. But my point is, when we were linked with Gyökeres like 6 months ago, what was the pushback of? Yeah, but he's older and he hasn't done it in the Prem, and a couple of season wonder, and we're just going after old manager players again. Oh no. So we will never be satisfied, and I think once, for me certainly. Once I've come to that realization of regardless who comes in, until they are putting the ball in the back of the net, that was all that matters, yeah? Because there would just be a lot of noise. And if I was talking to these strikers at the moment, that we're talking to, bringing them in, I'll go, look, people, they're going to slate you. Even before you kick the ball, they're going to slate you. So slate us saying, you're not good enough and you shouldn't be at United, blah, blah, blah. If you put the ball in the back of the net, that will shut them up very quickly. And that's all you need to do. That's all you need to do. Because as we've seen, whether it's Harry Kane, Gyökeres, Delap, Mateta, whoever it is, they will be criticised for coming to Manchester United. They will be questioned and criticised.
And the whole thing will, if we don't start quick enough next year, the whole thing's going to be like that.
Yeah.
The pressure's on. And with any signing that we make, any signing. Just really quickly, it wasn't really on the agenda, but there was a few things because I did pick up that Ruben was like, depending on like Lenny's Yoro's injury and stuff, like he could look at another centre half if it's a long-term injury. So there's things going on that, like with the squad planning and squad building, that we have to look out for, that things could just happen. There was a lot of stuff on the Semenyo thing that,
Yeah, the
there's been
Semenyo
some
one
stuff
was
on that as well. It's a
interesting
bit weird.
yesterday. From I think it might have been TalkSport. It was sort of
Yeah.
saying that talks had begun, and there was a lot. They were quoting a lot of money that we were going to seemingly pay.
And one thing
know.
I'd say is, though, down at the South Coast, Cricky, I know he does have good links at the South Coast clubs. I do know that for a fact. But that's not me saying, oh yeah, I tell you what, this, that, and the other. But I can't see it. I don't know.
Particularly for the money they were saying,
It's a
like
lot.
I think I saw like 70 million or something
crazy.
ridiculous, and I
That's
was like,
wild.
really? I
It's
mean,
wild.
part of me feels like it's something that kind of stems from because he had a really good game against us.
Yeah,
you know,
like everyone does.
so it was like, and obviously you made a bit of a fool of Yoro that day, didn't he? So maybe that's what it is. But I'm just not really sure if I see that. But I wouldn't be totally shocked if we're going for that kind of player. The reason I just sort of say that is because obviously with the 210s that we've got, as we've seen what Ruben is, I suppose, likes and what he wants is, when we think of the 210s, we think of 2 like 10 technical players, very neat and tidy. But one of those 10s almost does have to be like a converted winger, because if you've just got 2 10s, and I know this is, you're meant to be getting the pace and the width from the wing backs, but as we saw at the weekend, you can get really, really sort of stifled by having 2 players in there, like, where just not a lot of pace, doesn't really like to drift out wide.
Who can go at
That's
people,
why he's been playing Garnacho.
Yeah.
That's why he's been playing Garnacho, because he needs people that can run in behind or drift out wide or can play as a winger at different points. So I think that's why people like the idea of getting like a Cherky or, even like, say, Semenyo, but you know what I mean? Someone like that.
Mbeumo goes past people.
He could play as a winger, he could play as a striker. I think you need at least one of them.
Or the one who's going to be techie can do it a bit of all. So that's like Cunha. It's, again, we need to sign some all rounders, and we need to get players. Obviously, we have specific attributes, but we need some more. Cunha can do both sides of the game. He can take it past people like they're not there, run past people, drive with the ball, powerful, quick, get back in, shoot, assist. He can do a bit of everything. Eze's like that as well. Powerful, quick with the ball, can get on the half turn. You can't get near him. Cuts in, cuts out, cuts on the outside. Like Morgan Rogers is like that. A little less so, but also can still do it is Gibbs White. Again, powerful, can run through the thirds. As opposed to, like you said, someone who just wants it to feet at all times, neat, tidy. You need a bit of both. So yeah, Mbeumo can do that. Someone like a Semenyo would be able to be converted into that. Hudson-Odoi was mentioned the other day as well.
Yeah, because he's out of contract or something like fairly soon. I mean, because what we did see is at the weekend we had Cobby and Mason Mount in the 10. Cobby and Mason Mount in the 10, and just not a lot of pace there, is there? Like, you don't really associate them like,
because Mason Mount is mobile in terms he gets about, because he can press, like he's got legs, but he can't, like you said, he doesn't drive past people a lot. He's not a big dribbler.
Cobby, as we've seen, if he's surrounded by players in tight spaces, he got good feet, go past them. But in terms of like picking up the ball, pace, flying, like scare people, that kind of thing, he's not that kind of player. He's not. Again, you kind of need those, like, they could actually be on the wing. Like with Mason Mount, when he plays right wing, he's not really playing right wing, is he? You know what I mean?
No, he's coming in.
Cobby, you'd never put him out there. You would never put him at play. Oh, he's going to play left. He's going to be inside forward. Just no. So that's what you kind of need. You need at least one of those. Cobby's not
mobile enough to be playing big gaps, and he needs to play in there alongside someone. As long as Cobby's got runners around him or next to him, he can go and do what he does best with the ball at his feet. When he doesn't have that, he struggles, because that's just not what he's built to do. It's just not his remit. It's just not. He's not an all-action, all-controller dictator. He's not. He's someone who needs to play higher up the pitch. I've definitely seen that now. Or if he's going to play deeper, it has to be in a 3 where there's 2 next to him that can do a lot of running, and he can just be one that can go take the ball. So
Flex, we've got some breaking news.
Breaking news.
Breaking news is that we know who Manchester United's Player of the Year is. The Sir Matt Busby Player of the Year is Bruno Fernandes. Yes, Bruno Fernandes has just been announced as the Manchester United Player of the Year. Sir Matt Busby, Player of the Year, presented by Adidas. I mean, they're not going to be having. I don't even think they're having an awards do.
No.
Anything like that. They're not having an open top bus parade, even if we win Europa, which I saw Paul Merson criticise, which was ludicrous.
I think he's just doing it on purpose.
Yeah, when he was like, "Oh, that's arrogance," and you'd be like, "It'd be arrogance. It's arrogance to not do it," and everyone would be like, "It'd be arrogant to do it." Don't you?
Yeah, I think if we had the open top bus, someone like Paul Merson would actually say,
"Okay,
it's the joke. Man United, Man United, Jeff. Honestly, Jeff, I used to these. They got world class players. These lot got world class players. They're supposed to be winning the big ones, the big trophies. It's Europa League. They finished 78th, Jeff. 70. Honestly,
world
Jeff,
class."
There's no way. So he's just talking out both. Like, if we did an open top bus for that, mate, he'd cuss us. And like, we're not doing it. He'd cuss us. It's just, that's just Merce in it. And I love Merce. I think he's wicked. But he's just being Merce. I'll be honest, though, in the breaking news,
Maybe Ahmad could have got it, but you know what I mean. But he's been injured.
Yeah, it was always going to be Bruno. There's only one player it could have been. Yeah. And it just was always going to be. Eminem says, I feel a nasty Maguire winner is on its way. And Ivor says, it might sound like we're flip-flopping, but in reality, you're speaking to the whole world. Different people, different views. What regarding Harry Kane? Regarding
no, I think with that, obviously, look, this is the thing with signs, isn't it? You're never gonna. And I suppose this is my wider point: is that we're never unanimously going to be 100% behind a signing. For those that are loudly criticizing, i.e., signing Liam Delap, there'll be an equal amount of people that are going, I like the signing. I think that's what we need to be doing. So I think it's just. Sometimes when it gets to the big sort of performative outrage of it all, there is an equally, probably just as big, but probably quieter. No, I'm actually happy with that. Or just we'll kind of see. You know what I mean? So I think that when it comes to some of these signings, it's like betting, isn't it? One will be right or wrong. The problem is most of the signings have been wrong. But
yeah,
it's
exactly.
What it is.
There you go. Right. And the latest member of the UV Members Club is Pav as well. Big up to you, Pav. Respect, man. Respect. All right. Great.
Vex, very, very quickly. Very, very quickly.
Yeah.
Someone mentioned it there in the chat. Yeah. My situation with, if we win, I'm buying the Manchester United WWE Championship. Yeah. That's happening. Yeah. Some are saying that I should probably try and make it as an expense work-wise. It's a Man United prop.
So. Well, I mean, what's it used for? How does it enhance the content?
Stream. There'll be skits. It'll be skits. And I'll have it. I'll place it behind me here.
So what's the ROI on this? I'm not really
fun. Can you put a price on that?
But I could do fun for free though, can't I? I could do.
Yeah, you can, but it's just.
So it's just. Would you just kind of hold? Like, what'd you do with it?
Be on my shoulder. I'd do an unboxing video.
Unboxing video.
Unboxing stream.
Stream. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So when does it stop then? Because do I do football boots? Football boots unboxing here as well then? Because
they're not Man United football boots. This is a Manchester United WWE Championship. That's fine.
Right. Okay. All right.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. 5, and I know it's expensive.
Yeah.
But just we'll see.
Maybe. I might have to do this at gym. If we don't put in interventions, we could run out of money by 2025. So 2026. Yeah. So,
I'm going to get it regardless. I'm getting it regardless.
Might have to wait and see. What happens there. Yeah. We'll have to see. But we'll have a think. I like the effort. I like the thought. I like the camaraderie. I like the people getting behind. I like it. But,
I said unboxing it and
also it's not going to help if you insult me, is it? That's not going to.
Well, I didn't do that.
No, you didn't do it. But if a lot of it's definitely a no if people start.
Of course. So. Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, I'm going to be on FanFest I'm a minute over actually, so I'll be on FanFest very, very shortly. You lot smash a like, man. Big up, back. We got a game today. Shit, I forgot.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Yeah, we do. We're going to be live later
Chelsea
on.
as well. Oh, 100% loss. Oh, stinks. Oh, Palmer's going to... Oh, we know. Oh, God. Oh, shit. Do we have to watch it? Do we have to?
Yes.
We'll see you then. We'll see you for the match view later. I'm just bringing pure... it's going to be awful. Oh, God.
Oh, and yeah, KG's not in the country, so we're looking...
Yeah, he's... Oh, geez. Yeah. I'd say 3-0 Chelsea. It could be... Oh, God.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're out of here, guys. I'll be on FanFest in 2 secs. Peace.